Go to question number 41. There is that material misstatement that could occur in accession about a class of transaction, account balances or disclosure, and that could be material individually or when aggregated with other misstatements, will not be prevented or detected and corrected on a timely basis by entities' internal control. So then this is referred to as control risk, right? Control risk, that's all about control risk. So after having this, what is the expectation of the management? To have business objectives. So then if we can't achieve that, that's called control risk, right? So then through this not having these controls, that will create material misstatements to accession level as well as to the financial statement level, right? So then because of control inefficiencies, that is called control risk. අපි audit risk එක කතා කරා. Audit risk equal control risk plus inherent risk plus detection risk. Control risk and inherent risk we discuss as risk of material misstatement. So then before we are implementing controls, we identify what are the inherent risks at the zero control risk level. So then whatever the inherent risk, management responsible to implement control with the expectation of facing to this inherent risk. So then after implementing controls, so expectation is to happen activate that control effectively, but there may be deviation from the expectation relating to the particular control, that is called control risk. Altogether we can identify as the audit risk, right? So then that is the basic understanding we had at the risk assessment level, right? So then we can go forward. Question 42. During the planning stage of the audit, auditor must compute a maturity level as a whole. This level is called, what is that? Yes, overall maturity level. This is the answer. That is not performance maturity level, right? Performance maturity level is what? Tolerable error level. Trivial maturity level, that's the trivial value, sad value, right? Projected maturity level, this is not a concept we discuss, right? So then overall maturity level, what is that? That may be planning maturity, PM, overall maturity level. So as an organization, we may have entity level controls, accession level controls, right? And audit level, we are taking accession level decisions and financial level decisions. Once you are issuing the audit opinion, we consider the financial statement level, overall financial statement level, and then to get such kind of decisions, we are having one set of material level, one level of materiality, and that material level can't be used for the transaction level. For that we are having performance materiality to do sample selection, to test balances, disclosures, accession level materiality. So then for the audit field work, we are using performance materiality, tolerable error for scope or whatever the sample testing, right? So then after having results through this performance materiality, performance level audit activities, overall materiality, overall uncorrected misstatements will be considered with the, will be compared with the overall materiality level to issue the audit opinion. So that is the understanding we had at the audit reporting session, right? So then the answer is answer A, right? I think these are very straightforward questions. So then same theory, same pattern can be repeated on your exam. So then hope that will really helpful for your exam, right? So then we can move to 43. Auditing standards 315 says that the auditor shall identify and assess the risk of material misstatement at the financial statement level, at the accession level, for class of transaction, account balances and disclosures. Which of the following is not a step in said process? So then, as auditor, we are planning to audit 3 elements, right, as we discussed. We have repeated this many times, right. As auditor, we are auditing what? Transaction, account balances and disclosures. So then, once you are doing your risk of material misstatement assessment related to this, so then what is not the exact procedure? Identify risk throughout the process of obtaining understanding of the entities, its environment. What you can do is, you can do walkthrough test, understand the business, entity level control understanding. You have to do that basically. Assess the identify risk and evaluate whether they relate more pervasively to the financial statement as a whole. Yes, we have to do. And relate the risk to what can go wrong at the accession level. Yes, balance level we have to check, and what can go wrong to the accession level and related controls. That's all about identifying the risk, control risk, right. So, perform substantive procedure to gather evidence on the accessions. So, then very clear, these 3 are related to planning and risk assessment. This is the procedure you have to do at the execution. So, then we are going to check, is not a step in risk assessment stage. Answer D. So, this is all about performing audit procedures, right. Very straightforward, but you have to read all those answers, right. What is the most appropriate opinion to be provided when financial statements are materially misstated and the effect is material and pervasive? So, then refer SLAUS 705. We know this table, right? Q and then adverse and disclaimer. So, may have misstatement and scope limitation. Misstatement, we are having misstatement, material and pervasive. Misstatement, material and pervasive. Only material plus pervasive is the adverse opinion, right. We have discussed this. Answer A, adverse opinion. If it is a scope limitation, is a disclaimer opinion. This can't be unmodified, can't be qualified. Qualified can be only material, right. If it is pervasive, we can't do qualification, right. So, that is the basic understanding we are having. So, then we are moving to question number 45. So, then identify the effect of misstatements which is not considered as pervasive to the financial statement. So, then not considered as pervasive to the financial statement. It means whatever the scope limitation or misstatement that will be material to the financial statement, it means that the element or whatever the area, it may be relating to the inventory, revenue, there may be a specific area, right. So, then some instant misstatement or the scope limitation may impact to the overall financial statement, to the overall balance sheet, to the assets overall side, liability side, overall cash flow statement, that will impact to the overall financial statement. If it is so, we can say that it is pervasive. You can go through 4 items. Those that are not confined to specific element, not confined to specific element, right. Accounts or item in financial statement. Those that are confined to specific elements, accounts or item in the financial statement and present or could present a substantial portion of financial statements, right. those that are related to disclosures which are fundamental users understanding financial statement. Related to disclosures, right? And then misstatements that are not material to the financial statement. So then misstatements as a financial statement level is not material. It means not considered as pervasive. As a financial statement level is not material. So that's the clear definition for pervasiveness, right? Okay, we can go forward. Question number 46. Select the statement which is not an advantage of computer assisted audit techniques. Through audit automation, we discuss about CAT, right? So then here we discuss about advantages and disadvantages. So with the audit automation in a digitalized environment, how we can perform audit, what are the advantages? So after achieving the digital tools and audit techniques with digital aspects, how we can achieve benefits and what are the challenges. Here we need to identify not an advantage, not an advantage, it may be a disadvantage. So auditors can test program control as well as general control associated with the computers. Yes, through technological aspect we can easily check this. Auditor can test a greater number of items more quickly and accurately than would be the case otherwise. Yes, through this technological aspect we can do portfolio based testing quickly based on audit automation. Auditors can test transaction rather than paper records of transaction that could be incorrect. Yes, so then based on the traditional audit procedures, some of the cases we can see the final audit, final transaction record, source document, but through this audit automation, you can go through whole transaction approval process in short time. So that is also correct. Setting up the software needed for CATs can be time consuming and expensive. So this is a basic kind of a disadvantage. So then this is the answer D. Very straightforward question, right? Question number 47. Which of the following is not a response for the assessed risk of estimates in accordance with SLA US 540? So then which of the following is not a response for assessed risk of estimates? Assessed risk of estimates. අපි estimates කතා කරනකොට estimate examples කතා කරා නේද? මොනවද estimates example? අපි estimate ගත්තොත් financial statement ගත්තොත් ඒකේ asset side එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, liability side එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ averagely more than 50% estimate තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක depends on the industry නේද? Example, inventory valuation, if you are based on NRV, is estimate, deferred tax, property valuation, biological asset valuation, insurance contract liability valuation, depreciation, and then gratuity. So then we may have different estimates. Estimates, what you have to do is, as the management, they should have a process. As auditor, we need to assess the risk. Before we are assessing the risk, what we have to do? We need to identify the estimate risk category. So then whether it's a high risk estimate, medium risk estimate or low risk estimate. And then you need to identify the process in the organization. Process, you can do a walkthrough test, and whether they are using expert or they are using a model, or what are the inputs they are using, observable inputs or non-observable inputs. Likewise, you can check, and based on that walkthrough test, you can decide audit approach, whether you are going to do rely on control approach or the full substantive approach. Accordingly, you can do your audit substantive procedures like testing independently, independent calculation, back testing, or testing data or arithmetical accuracy of the model, independent validation of the model. We can check the qualification of the expert and the data sent to the expert, and the assumption used can be tested with the market data or observable data. Such type of audit procedures can be performed based on the requirement of the nature of the estimate, right. So, that is the basic understanding of audit responses relating to the estimates, right. So, then here question is, following is not a response for the assess the risk of estimate. මම ගොඩක් details කතා කරා question එකට relate. හැබැයි question එකට relate තියෙන පොඩි දෙයක් තමයි අහලා තියෙන්නේ. So, determine whether events occurring up to the date of auditor's report provide audit evidence regarding the accounting estimate. So, then test how management made the accounting estimate and data and which it is based. ඒක exactly බලන්න ඕන. කොහොමද management එක model එකක් use කරනවද, expert කෙනෙක් use කරනවද, internal expert කෙනෙක් use කරනවද, data කොහොමද extract කරගන්නේ. That is the area need to focus. Test the operating effectiveness of the controls over how accounting estimate was made. අපි control එකක් ගත්තොත් areas තුනක් බලනවා. Implementation, design and operating effectiveness. අපි walk through එකේදී බැලුවා design and implementation. අපිට test of controls කරලා operating effectiveness එක බලන්න පුළුවන්, right. Obtaining understanding on the requirements of applicable financial reporting framework. මේක risk assessment එකේදී අපි focus කරන area එකක් නෙමෙයි ලොකුවට, right. So, other three basically we focus about risk assessment. Answer D is the suitable answer, but we need to do this requirement, but it's not about the risk assessment, right. So, then these are relating to the risk assessment. So, then we can consider the answer D as the exact most appropriate answer. Another thing is, once you are evaluating these 4 answers, you have to select most appropriate answer, right. So, then that is the learning outcome you have to get from this exercise, right. Question number 48. Which of the below statement is incorrect in relation to parameters of audit evidence as per SLAUS 500? අපි SLAUS 500 ගැන කතා කරද්දී audit evidence internal, external, written, oral or original, duplicate, likewise we discuss. එතකොට අපි එහෙම කතා කරනකොට අපි කතා කරා information may be more reliable when obtaining independent sources outside the entity. ඒක අපි independent confirmation reliable කියලා consider කරා. Original documents are more reliable, yes, than copy of the document. Obvious, අපිට original deed එකක්, original lawyers confirmation එකක්, bank confirmation එකක් තමයි අපි evidence එකක් විදියට ගන්න. Photocopy can be kind of a document we can't rely on. So, then we need to base on the original document, right. Internal control evidence is more reliable than external evidence. Internal evidence is more reliable. This is not. Internal evidence is more reliable than external evidence. No. So, the internal evidence is created by the management, right. Then again, financial statement also prepared by the management. So, then self review. So, then we can't rely upon more. We can't rely strongly for the internal evidence, rather having external evidence. So, then external confirmation, lawyers letters, bank statement related details, whatever the external expert opinion, those can be taken as strong evidence. Regulatory opinion, right. So, then answer is answer C. So, then we can read the fourth one, D item. Written evidence more reliable than the evidence from words. Exactly, written evidence more reliable than oral evidence. So, then answer is answer C. So, we can go to question number 49. Which of the below consideration is not relevant to determine the form and the content of working papers? අපි working papers ගැන කතා කරේ මොන lesson එකේද? Documentation, importance of documentation. අපි කිව්වා so that we can't sacrifice the quality of documentation for the efficiency. We can't tell that because of deadline we couldn't do documentation, right? So then audit documentation is part and parcel of quality audit, right? So then whatever the regulatory requirement for the review purpose for the next year usage or whatever the global review, we should have proper documentation about audit planning, execution and the conclusion. So that is the basic understanding we should have. That documentation may be depend on the size of the complexity of the entity. Yes, if it is a bank, if it is a small company, if it is an insurance company, if it is a manufacturing company, based on the complexity, based on the digitalization, your documentation may be changed. Yes, the nature of the audit procedures to be performed. Yes, nature of the balance, nature of the industry, your documentation may be changed, right? If it is a balance related to agricultural industry, the balance verification may be totally different approach. You have to change your documentation, you have to update accordingly, right? Identified risk of material misstatement. If it is high, documentation may be more complex. If it is low, very less documentation. These are the areas this documentation may be impacted, may be dependent on, right? But strength of the client's management may not impact to the the documentation consideration, right? So the strength of the client's management, that analytical skills and digitalization aspect and technological aspect may helps to helps to improve the documentation, but the documentation extent will not be decided based on this aspect. So then the answer A. So then that's a good question, tricky question, right? So then you should have proper understanding about all aspect to give a proper answer for this type of question, right? Right, we are moving to final question, question number 50. Which of the following is a factor of fraudulent financial reporting? So here we are having two aspects, fraudulent financial reporting. So need to focus the financial reporting aspect, right? Fraudulent, to do a fraud, we should have fraud triangle, right? So then opportunity and rationalization and then the pressure. So then after having these three aspects, people tempted to do frauds. That frauds may be related to the financial related or some property related or different aspects. So the financial reporting related frauds may be there. They are going to change numbers and overstate assets, understate liabilities. Example, so then recently management planning to do a kind of IPO, right? Initial public offering. So then they want to highlight, they want to boost their balance sheet. So then they are planning to the overstate asset, and they are planning to identify premature revenue. So then those type of things considered as fraudulent financial reporting, right? So then we can go through 4 items here. Embezzling receipts. Embezzling receipts mean so then cash receipt can be directed to their personal accounts by using different techniques. So then once we are uploading this transaction to the payment gateway, we are putting our personal numbers, right? So that's a fraudulent activity, yes, but it's relating to the operation, cash operation, right? Stealing physical asset, intellectual property, that's all about physical asset security. That's a fraud, but it's not all about financial reporting related. That's a fraud relating to managing physical asset and intellectual property, right? And causing an entity to pay for goods not received. So then whatever the goods not received, we are trying to pay because of maybe financial benefits, right? Payments to fictitious vendors. Actual vendor කෙනෙක් නැහැ. අපේ relative කෙනෙක් මොනවා හරි relationship base එකක් base කරගෙන payment කරනවා. dummy vendors ලට pay කරනවා. එයාලගේ මොනවා හරි relationship එකක් personally තියෙන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So that is not a financial reporting fraud. Here we have point number D, manipulation and falsification or alteration of accounting records document. So then that's all about accounting records and changing numbers or altering numbers, false entries and manipulation. It's like a window dressing, right? As I discussed, it may be changing liability balances, making less provision, or we need to show our performance. To do that, manipulate financial statements for fraudulent purpose, self-interest. It may be to achieve the bonus, right? It may be achieve high performance, whatever the rewards. So then that is answer D. So likewise, you can select appropriate answer after going through each and every item. So then we have completed whole one of a pilot paper. So then same structure will be repeated in the exam, and in the students login you can get other pilot papers as well. So then do practice, and doing practice is the important aspect. So practice කරන එක තමයි වැදගත්ම. So practice කරලා අපේ lecture series එක go through කරලා ඒ lecture series එකේ purpose එක ඔයාට support එකක් දෙන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ transformation program එක යටතේ අපේ English medium වලට එන students ලට full support එකක් වෙලා ඒකෙදී එයාට මොනවද study කරන්න, study text එක go through කරන්න, ඊට පස්සේ exam pass papers කරන්න support එකක් දෙන එක තමයි purpose එක. එතකොට study කරනකොට අර lecture series එක go through කරන්න පුළුවන්, study text එක go through කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ මොනවද ඔයාට auditing standard, accounting standard go through කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයාට go through කළා එකතු කරගන්න knowledge එක exam එකේදී summarize කරන එක තමයි important within that time frame. ඒකේ advice එක තමයි හොඳට ප්‍රශ්නේ කියවන්න. Auditing is a subject we need to focus about the question more, right? You need to read the question more than twice, right? So then there may be the following items or following item, right? It may be consider or not consider, right? Likewise, you need to be very careful once you are reading your question. And as I said, you have to go through each and every item and decide what is the appropriate answer. That is the way you have to follow, right? So with this final question, we are going to finish our paper discussion. So we did this as a support for all the students. Actually, we conducted this lecture series as an initiative by the CA Institute to help the students who are transforming from Sinhala medium to English medium. We hope that this is very effective program and you are getting more outcomes and you are getting helps from your exam as well as future whatever the learning aspects, whatever the subject relating to audit, business process and digitalization, you can refer these materials. And my message is, so then don't depend on the whatever the content we have discussed. So then this is kind of an initiative and guidance, and you can expand your resources. What make a base කරගෙන what study guide එක තව refer කරන්න. ඊට පස්සේ අපි study guide එකේ lectures plan කරලා තිබුණු chapters වලට වඩා වෙනස් විදියකට format කරේ lecture series එක. මොකද ඒකේ continuation එක clearly යන විදියට. මොකද අපි මුලින්ම control framework එක ගැන ඩිස්කස් කරා. ඊට පස්සේ corporate governance. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක ඇතුලේ අපි processes ගැන study කරා. processes study කරනකොටම ඒක related audit procedures කරන විදිය බැලුවා. එතකොට audit process එකේදී planning, execution, conclusion එකට අපි discuss කරා. ඊට පස්සේ මේ process එක digitalization කොහොමද aspect එක එන්නේ කියලා කතා කරා. ඊට පස්සේ audit reporting ගැන කතා කරා. likewise එතකොට auditor කෙනෙක් විදියට ethical aspects, quality aspect කොහොමද embed කරන්නේ, documentation ගැන කතා කරා. so then we had a very proper link in between each and every aspect, and you can develop that link with your understanding and whatever the knowledge you are gathering. So then read resources, study guide, standards and related video session, so then you can develop your knowledge. So with this, all this aspect will help you to develop your career and your skills. So then finally we congratulate for your exam. So then this will be a good help and guidance for your exam as well as future progression. So thank you very much for joining with us with transformation program. All the very best.